You're welcome to another interesting edition of your favorite program on television, Crime Fighters. In today's episode, we bring to you the interesting chat we had with Mr. Musiliu Lawal, the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the State's Criminal Investigation Department, PANTI. This ebullient gentleman opened up on the various measures the State Criminal Investigation Department is taking to check the menace of armed robbery and other heinous crime. He said no policeman is sent out to bully members of the public, but to protect lives and property, while also carrying out their constitutional duties of arresting and prosecuting criminals. He also debunked insinuations that the State Criminal Investigation Department is reeking of corruption.
My name is M.A. Lawal. I'm the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of Criminal Investigation Department, Panti Street, Yaba.
When people hear Panti, there is this fear. Why this? Why do you think this is?
Well, you see, it's the center point of investigation in Lagos. All serious cases, they do transfer them here. And that is mostly the end of these cases. And from here, some of them go to prisons. And not only that, the way we handle matters here, if it is robbery, it is robbery. No compromise. If it is murder, it is murder. No other way around. So it gives fear. The way the setup here. I think that one, that's the main reason giving them that kind of fear of Panti. There's nothing extraordinary. What we do here is what we do in most police formations.
So what has been the challenges, or what are the challenges you face here in Panti in carrying out your duties?
Well, there are so many. The nature of cases that are being brought here and the number, this center of Lagos, most cases, most serious cases, robbery, murder, fraud, cases involving government officials. They are mostly we deal with complex issues. So these are the challenges. And the challenges of reducing crime, because we are investigating. In the course of investigation, we detect and at the same time prevent. And apart from that, we have other preventive measures. These are challenges. The challenge of reducing crime in Lagos metropolis.
So how have you been able to control the problem of external influence? Because being the center of investigation in the Lagos State Police Command, of course, people who have connection here and there will want to influence your investigations. How have you been able to tackle this problem?
That's what I'm saying. We don't compromise. Because there's no way you can compromise robbery. There's no way you can compromise murder. These are serious cases. If we don't do that, so external influence is reduced to barest minimum. Once you tell them, look, these are the cards on the table. I mean, this man has done it. If you now want me to turn it upside down, I can't do it. So they quietly, and nobody can ask you to do bad thing.
Now, going down memory lane since you assumed office here, can you tell us one or two cases that were so complex that brought out the best in you as at that time?
Most cases that come here, we because of the complexity in nature, it always required the best in you. We cannot even, it's not only one, there are so many of them. If you had asked me the question in time, I would have gone into records. But because they are the same cases, robbery cases involving a lot of money, a lot of properties that have been carted away. Some occasions we recover them, and the complainant will be happy. And that one give us joy of recovery.
Now let's look at the men in your command.
Yes.
Are they sourced from other departments, other units, or are they specifically trained for this job here?
They were sourced from other police stations, other police formations. The Commissioner of Police do transfer them there after looking to their records. Most policemen must have undergone detective courses, including myself. So looking at your past experience, where you have worked, that won't qualify you, and on tainted record. If you by chance come to this place and you are with bad records, once we have been able to identify you, we push you out. because we cannot have people of shady characters here. We only need people who are straightforward, who can be trusted.
Looking at the men you have, you talked about detective course. How do you go about training and retraining this personnel? Is it locally or externally or a combination of both?
For now, it's locally. We have a detective college in Enugu. Most of our students, most of our detectives pass through this college. Above that, most of them have been to divisional crime branch, other police investigation units, and they have learned on the job.
So are you satisfied with the kind of personnel you have now, or there are other things you are actually looking forward to?
I'm quite satisfied. And if there's any area of, we can say, any area of shortcoming, we normally bring them up. It's my duty as a leader here to groom them to my own style.
If given the opportunity to request for assistance from the IG and from the government, what are the things you think you need in this command that are lacking presently that will aid your efficiency?
Well, what we need there is mobility. We have some fleet of vehicles, but some of them are not in good condition. You understand me? But if we have more vehicles, more patrol vehicles in particular, we'll be more mobile. We can reach more space.
So that means in the area of firearms and communications, at least what you
That one is adequate.
So, but one problem we have always had from members of the public is the issue of corruption.
Yes.
They always say when they come here, people demand money to subdue cases or to handle their cases, and that only cases that have commercial viability interests the officers.
That is not true. Like I told you, we have so many cases of different nature. We have fraud cases, we have robbery cases, we have murder cases. The issue of corruption, we have taken care of that because the detectives here, they have no say in terms of bail. And from the beginning, when you want to initiate cases to this department, it has to come to me first. That is to reduce the number of the issue of sponsored cases. You know what I mean? Somebody writing a petition, you come and solicit assistance from a detective that I want this case investigated. The detective has no say. The man has to come to me direct. And if I'm satisfied that his interest is being jeopardized in any way, I approve. If not, I'll ask him to go to the commissioner or write a petition to somewhere else or report his case in the nearest police station. We have cases, we have category of cases we should go into, and we always adapt to these categories.
What we're discussing with the AIG Zone 2,
Yes,
as well as the CP Lagos, they said crime had been brought to the barest minimum in Lagos.
Yes.
And we are sure that Panti played a major role in this regard. Can you tell me how this was achieved?
Really, what we have been doing is to reduce the number of criminals. Criminal grows. So we ensure that at all time, our focus is reduction in number. What I mean in reduction is that once some of them are brought here, possibly arrested in action, one might be arrested in action. When they are brought here, we interrogate and arrest more of these hoodlums. When we get them, we send them to where they belong to, that is the prisons. On our own part, we have a network of information network that give us the location and identity of criminals. When we get them, we go all out for them. So we have, through that means, we have arrested criminals, specialized in bank robbery, or some of them called pack and carry, and they have been rounded up. In that wise, we have been able to reduce them in number.
One thing that has become a bit rampant now, that's giving room for concern, is this theft of bullion vans, attack on bullion vans.
Exactly.
And apart from Lagos, it's also happening in other states. Now, what are you doing about this particular case in Lagos?
We are only contributing in general terms. That is, we do go on patrol in Mufti. So many people don't normally see us because we are just like any other person. So this way we reduce crime in general in the society. Because what you mentioned is more or less operational jobs. But we do go out during the week, 5 radar teams. Perhaps I should mention that here, our crime prevention thrust is basically on what we call anti-robbery section. Therein, we have a good number of radar teams. They are arranged in some numbers. I won't like to let you know the numbers now because it's public. So these radar teams, their job is to investigate, raid criminal hideouts, and at the same time go out on preventive measures. On strategy, we do post them on strategy points like Oshodioke, Alapere. This wise, if there are any unusual movements, they are there to quickly take charge of the situation. So these are the things we can do, and we do follow up to reduce crime in the society.
Talking about raiding, one place we have had complaints about is indiscriminate raiding. Yes. We have had cases of people saying they just raid their area, cut people away. How do you control this? How are you ensuring that this is not abused?
Listen, personally, if you raid, we don't screen out. You know what I mean by screen out? We don't release them like that. Anybody we found, even before I embark on raid, we must make sure that that is a criminal hideout. So anybody, criminal hideouts like joints, houses, Indian hemp houses, anybody seen there is more or less a criminal. So once we are arrested, whether we found you anything criminal on you, you go to court. The fact that you are there, you go and defend yourself. So the issue of releasing on bail or release or something doesn't come in here at all.
Then the issue of your men mostly are in Mufti, yes, by virtue of the jobs they have to do. And they are found with firearms, yes, rifles and things, yes, like that. And members of the public are like, we find it difficult to differentiate these from armed robbers. What do you have to tell them?
We have a way of doing our own, doing our things. We know there is a police regulation forbidding that. When we go out, there must be something to identify us as policemen. Not that we just go and open our flanks like that, carrying arms all about, and instead of protecting or giving people, the populace, the confidence they required, we're now giving them fear. So we are always cognizant of that. So we have a way of identifying, though we are in Mufti, but there must be something to show that these are policemen.
Then at times you are compelled, just like you had said, because of mobility problem.
Yes.
And for the sake of your job, to use commercial vehicles.
We don't do that.
Because we have had situations where we see policemen in Mufti with commercial vehicles. And the issue of robbing with commercial vehicles has become, yes, a rampant
cash in the air. We call it cash in the air.
So, I mean, on this, what assurance do you have to give to members of the public?
Basically, in the command, using of commercial vehicles is discouraged. But at times, police might be moving in commercial vehicles. When you want to do that, you announce that to the control room. That for one reason or the other, I have to use commercial. I'm compelled to use commercial vehicle. This is the number. This is everything. If you're allowed, you go in. But if you don't perceive it as is unsafe, they will discourage you to go back to your station and get a vehicle that you can possibly use without causing any trouble for you or others.
Now, one major thing is that youths are mostly the one involved in crime these days. Yes. At least one is surprised to find even graduates going into armed robbery. As somebody who has been on the field and who had to relate with these people, what do you think is the major cause of this? What do you think motivates them to go into this?
Well, from my own experience, I know there are so many causes. But whatever it is, I just have to bear in my mind. There is no justification for crime. You cannot say because I have no job, then you go and take to crime. Because the implications and the result is so overwhelming. Because you might lose your freedom, you might get killed in the process. So why, because you have no job, you want to go for that? So there are so many reasons, but you can't justify it.
Lagos is a place where you have so many higher institutions.
Yes.
And cultism on its own is also a crime.
Yeah.
And we're sure that from time to time you have had cause to investigate cult activities or killing on campuses.
Yes.
What is your experience? What has the experience been like?
I think the best thing is to outlaw those cultist groups on the campus. Outlaw them, and anybody found wanting in that regard will be dealt with. But what I'm seeing is that somebody will be caught this way, he will go to another school and re-enroll. And it appears the authorities are not doing anything. So the parents themselves should have to make up their mind. Do they want to produce and breed children whose future will be, blank? You understand me now? What I'm saying is that if you have a bad child, if you cannot tame him, disown him and let him realize what he has done, and if he has committed serious offense, what's your answer of? But the problem with our people is that the boy must have done something wrong. They will still be coming to influence you that, look, it's a child now, please, and you can't justify it. And in our own case, we do our job, push him to court.
Now, with this issue of cultism rearing its ugly head again, do you subscribe to the issue of having police posts or policemen stationed in our campuses?
Why not? It's part of the society.
And with the e-feelings normally associated with student-police relationship, that you don't think it will have a negative impact?
And they just have to they have to realize that there's no way they can be, lawless. Lawlessness in whatever society, whether it's on campus or outside, it doesn't go well for anybody. The rule of law, if they are praying for rule of law should be all embracing, including the campus. But it's unfortunate they want to be at the forefront of a just society. But when it comes to them, they want you to, support them in their unlawful deeds.
The survival of this country rests on these people. What advice do you have for them?
Well, it's normal. They should have a focus and leave crime out of their calculation. Crime doesn't pay. At the end of the day, if you have your way today, tomorrow, you will be caught. At the end of the day, unless you change to a new leaf. So they should have a focus and get something done. Make a good career. Make a legitimate business.
Now, looking at parents too, parents have a major role to play.
Yes.
Do you think the home, or what role do you think the home can play in curbing the criminal tendencies of our youth?
The family unit is as important as any other institution in society. The family is even the first port of call for anybody coming to this world. So they have a role there. The child will start from them, from when the child is born to when he goes to school. So they have a greater role to play than any other person.
So what advice do you have for the parents in this regard?
They should take charge of their children. They should know what their children are doing. If the children go to school, they should follow him to school and see what they are doing there. To have constant reports. There's no other way they can share that responsibility to anybody. The school system can do it, but it cannot be done more than enough. You cannot compare the school role to the parental role, because the child goes out in the morning and come back to them, and they will be telling lies. The child must have joined a bad group. We cannot say so many things. How even children from good homes, purported good homes, rich children, join bad gangs, go into courtesim, not only courtesim, go into robbery, because courtesim needs to be financed, funded one way or the other. So the other way, if the money is not forthcoming from the parents, the other way is to go look at the other side. So we have some of them here who are students of our institutions. And what did they do to possibly build up their ego is to go into crime, side by side. And how that person will concentrate in the studies, I don't know.
We're in the information technology age.
Yes.
And it plays a major role in this bank fraud.
Yes.
Do you have the technical know-how as regards personnel to handle such high-tech cases? There's IT and bank fraud.
Well, in terms of information technology, we are yet to take off. We are still developing. So likewise, the police force too. But if we have any such cases or cases that required more of technical knowledge, there are other places we can seek assistance, and we do seek their assistance, and they are ready.
Then what role is your command playing as regards cyber crimes? People using internet centers for internet cafes?
I remember some occasions we participated in a sort of seminar. This seminar was initiated by cyber cafe associations of the Lagos branch, and the legal aspect, we have it, because there are some laws that came up some times ago, and we advise them on how to go about it. So I don't think there's any problem. Any form of crime, I think we're up to date.
So do you have men from time to time who visit these cyber cafes? And
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We have the legal session there. They do, they have some role, they are in role with their body, with their association body.
What's your last word for members of the public who are watching this program right now?
Well, security is all embracing. Everybody has to secure himself. You have a right to defend, to protect your property. At the same time, you have an obligation to be security conscious. We will not be with you. You are staying in a particular place. You know what is going on there. Anything that you feel will constitute a threat, please inform the police. And if there's any information, the era of somebody that forging information is gone. The present administration is up and doing, and will not tolerate anybody that does not make it. So please, give us information. The police is information driven. At all time, we are ready to serve you.